The most I made in a single trade was 220,000 on a short on gold.
Discipline, controlling your emotions, doubling down when it gets hard, and just keep moving.
It's a career. It's not a hobby.
If you don't fail, you quit, bro.
I never once had doubt that I wasn't going to be able to be successful at it.
If the top people in the world are doing something, odds are you should probably try it too.
Because a lot of people give up because it just gets hard.
All right, so you go by Lambo Raul, right? Is that right?
Something like that, yeah.
All right, so before we even get into intros and kind of your story, where did the name come from, other than having the car, obviously?
Yeah, I mean, it was a funny story. So I started my social media really just to showcase my car is really all it was for it. It's a really typical thing in like the car community.
Okay.
And I was at a New Year's Eve party, and one of my boys basically told me, to keep a long story short, like, why do you call yourself Raul GTR? Because that's what it was at the time. Because I mainly like posted the Huracan. It's like, you never post the GTR anymore. And I'm like, damn, you know what? You're kind of right, bro. So I literally changed it right then and there.
And that's how Lambo Raul was born?
Yeah, basically. Because that's what my social media was for, to showcase my car and the build and the progression.
You know you're known for that, right?
For what?
For being Lambo Raul and not just Raul, or...
I know, bro. And, you know, like how people come up to me at the gas station or wherever, bro. They'll be like, yo, Lambo. And I'm like, what? I got confused at first.
All right. Well, before you had the Lambos and all the cars, let's kind of start in the beginning, obviously. The way we work here in the Blueprint, Raul, is we want to tell your story, hopefully to touch at least one person. I always say if we touch at least one person that watches this, we did our job. You know, our goal is to just inspire entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, and see if, we could provide some value to them, hopefully, bro. So where are you from? Were you born here in Miami? Kind of walk me through your upbringing a little bit, and then we'll jump into how you got into what you do now.
Yeah, so I mean, I was born here, Miami. My entire family is Colombian, from Barranquilla to be specific. A lot of people think I don't speak Spanish, but I speak Spanish very well, especially with a Venezuelan wife. I have no other option, you know? So, I mean, it was a pretty normal childhood, to be honest with you. Raised middle class, and then slowly we kind of upgraded to like upper middle class.
Nice.
And I mean, there's a lot of things that I tend to forget about my childhood, but I have one friend who's specific, he's one of my best friends today and a business partner as well, that kind of reminded me, it's like, I don't think I was ever meant to go like a traditional path like the majority of people go down, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it just wasn't for me, which when me and my friend specifically, we were like maybe 10 years old, 11 years old, we were into skateboarding, and we didn't have any money to buy skateboards and things along those lines. And instead of asking our parents for money to go buy trunks and wheels and different decks, what we did was we started like a little candle business. And we literally made homemade candles, went door knocking, and started selling candles till we made like $100 maybe. Then we went and bought what we needed to buy.
So entrepreneurship at 10 years old, you started slanging candles. Dope.
Basically.
Let me ask you, think you got that from your family? Like, obviously, you mentioned you went from middle to upper. So I had a similar experience, and then we went broke, which is worse. But seeing the grind that my parents did helped me kind of develop my mindset in business. Would you attribute yours maybe to that?
100%. I don't remember who I was having the conversation with, but I was having this conversation with one of my friends. Is like, every direct family member that I have, so essentially my grandpa and my dad, none of them are 9-to-5 employees. They all own their own business. They're all entrepreneurs, which of course it didn't start that way. They grew up really poor in Colombia, but my grandpa went from a 9-to-5. I don't remember exactly what he started off as. I think he was a carpenter or something along those lines. He started his own import-export business. My dad obviously saw that, and he went into dentistry. Now he has his own dental clinic, and he does a few other things as well. And me, myself, I got into day trading. Then I started a few software companies, and then that's basically my entire, like, I guess, male bloodline right then and there. But even then, besides like that point too, what's really dope about it is, since we're all entrepreneurs now, and it's crazy because my grandpa actually started trading maybe 3 years ago. Really? He learned a lot from me, but he trades a different market. He trades options. I trade futures. He specifically, so me and my dad, what we're going to be doing now, what we want to get into is corporatizing his business and building franchises from his main dental clinic too, because what he focuses on is smile reconstruction, of course, regular orthodontics, along those lines. So I'm going to be getting into business with my dad shortly, awesome, which is going to be dope.
That is really cool. Yeah, I've been working with my dad for a few years now, bro. It's a really dope feeling.
Yeah.
We have similar backgrounds on that end. Yeah, everybody in my family, they've all been poor and then worked their way up, and even if they lost it, they kind of built it back up.
Yeah.
So it's a cool thing to do. And now they're gonna work with your pops. You're gonna enjoy that. I mean, it's a hit.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword, but there's nothing like
Yeah.
working with, especially if you look up to your pops. So that's really cool.
Yeah, 100%.
Have you gone back to Barranquilla?
I have a few times, yeah. It's nice there. I mean, I have a lot of family over there.
Nice. I'm going on Tuesday.
My family's nice.
Yeah. So I'm serious. I have a call center in Barranquilla, so I go every other month. So I love Barranquilla. I'm not from Colombia, but I go every month.
Yeah.
My partner leaves tomorrow. He gets back Friday. I leave Tuesday, and I think Alex supposedly is joining me. He got permission to go, so I'm going out there.
Yeah, Barranquilla isn't as crazy as like Medellin,
100%,
though.
yeah. My call center was in Medellin in the beginning, and we had to move it. I sent, shout out to GC. I sent GC on, I didn't send him, he went. But I sent him with some computers. This is a true story. To Medellin. We had the call center in Medellin in the beginning. And I sent him on Monday with like 3 suitcases with like 12 computers. I got there on Thursday. The computers were still in the suitcase. His boy dropped off the computers and disappeared.
Wow.
For 3 days. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's definitely not a place where you want to do business if you're trying to focus on work. It's a lot of distractions. But Barranquilla's the total opposite, bro. But all right. Where'd you go to high school?
So I started off in high school at Gulliver for freshman year, and then I transferred over to a Christian school that's here local as well, and then I ended up graduating high school online.
Nice. Okay. And how old are you now?
I'm 26.
You're 26.
Yeah.
How long have you been trading?
I've been trading I'm going to make 9 years in October.
So you were 17 when you started?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, let's get into that. What got you into trading in the first place?
So, I mean, I guess this kind of revolves around why I graduated online to begin with, because I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease and I was missing so many days of school because I was in the hospital. That the school decided to basically kick me out because they're like, yo, like he doesn't even come here anyways. Like it's better he just does his own thing and focuses on his health. And I wanted to join the military at first, but I can't join the military with Crohn's disease because it needs constant attention and medication. And then I started looking up different ways to make money online. And like what I always knew was like in the back of my head that people traded stocks to make money. So like the word trading stuck out. I looked up trading. I started trading currencies. Then I slowly evolved into trading commodities and then futures.
And so I saw a video you did once that talked about like the struggle in the beginning, and then people obviously like anything else that you get into, you gotta get good. You gotta develop the skill. It takes a while.
Yeah.
I'm literally like anything else. How at what point like I talk about having a breakthrough in my business, like I can pinpoint the breakthrough. Like I remember that exact moment at every level, because obviously there's levels to everything, you know. How long did it take you to like where you got off rip? How did you get prepared? Like kind of walk me through that.
I mean, I feel like everybody kind of has like maybe a little bit of beginner's luck in trading. Like my very first trade, I ended up making $50 on the trade. I don't know why. I would never forget it. I ended up making $50 on the trade, and I thought that, you know, I was like, okay, well, this is like, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
And then I got smacked with reality shortly after. But I mean, everybody goes through a different journey career. And I feel like in trading, like, yeah, sure, you can have like certain moments where there's breakthroughs, but you're always going to get knocked back down in some way, shape, or form. Like it's never going to be perfect, and it's going to be a consistent game of constant self-improvement. And if you don't do that, then you're going to get knocked back down right away. You know, like nowadays, a lot of people, what they're doing is they're trading with prop firms, which essentially, you know, it's just a form of you to trade more money inside of the markets. And there's a lot of traders that I talk to. It's like, yeah, you know, consistently they'll get paid maybe $40,000, $50,000 every single month for 6 months. Then they lose their funded accounts and they start back from zero again, which I mean, you still make money.
Right.
Good. You're still profitable the year. But I mean, everybody's journey is going to be so different. There's not like one specific point where even with a traditional business, there's going to be ups and downs.
100%.
And the only difference is in trading, depending on how well you can handle losing, the downs could be super low or the downs may not be as bad.
Gotcha. You mentioned traditional business. You come from, obviously, you alluded to having a lineage of entrepreneur males in your family. Mm-hmm. Were they supportive when you got into trading? Did they think it was like a real business, or were they more like kind of like looking to something else? What was that like?
I would say they were pretty supportive from the beginning.
I can imagine that.
Yeah, because I didn't really bring it up too much. Like obviously they were seeing what I was doing because I had turned into my mom had like this little closet that was maybe like a half the size of this room that I turned into an office, and I would put pictures and back tested results on the walls and stuff, and they kind of knew, but it wasn't like I really told them like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I want to do. And even then, like I was still finishing high school online and everything else along those lines. So
you were just like a teenager on a computer ultimately, right?
basically, like I spent the majority of my time on a computer anyways. Yeah. So they didn't really like tell the difference.
And I'm not big on asking about money, but obviously you've done very, very well. First year, second year, third year. When did you make your first million?
The thing is, it's not as simple as like, okay, well, I just turned 10,000 into a million, which that's to Frank is very unrealistic.
Right.
By the time I made my first million, and having my first million was a big difference. I didn't realize I made $1 million when I made my first million, because a lot of it was just consistently reinvesting into my own education, or maybe investing it into something else, or having a business.
Right.
But by the time I made my first million, maybe like, I don't know, 3.5, 4 years in maybe. Yeah, when I had my first like $1 million.
Like you had liquid, because I'll be honest with you, Mike. When I have a business coach, I've had it for 18 months now, and when I send her my books right before we started working together, and she calls me, she's like, "Congratulations, you're a millionaire." I was like, "No, I'm not." You know what I mean? And she said, "Well, you are. You know, just because you reinvest a lot of money doesn't mean you're not. I had made apparently multiple millions of dollars, and I was like, well, I don't feel like I don't got $1 million in the bank. So at that point, I'm not a millionaire as far as I'm concerned. I have some money, but
and I guess that's the thing about business and evaluations and stuff too. It's just it's different because having $1 million, when I made my first million, I didn't realize that I had made $1 million. So I was just constantly getting rid of the money and reinvesting it. So a big difference between making my first million and having my first million.
I hear you. Was it weird to like how crazy was it to start like actually like banking, trading?
I wouldn't say it was weird, because it felt like what I was working so hard for. I felt like I put, because the thing about me specifically was I have way more free time, and I had way more free time than the majority of people can actually allocate to. Because I had my friend group, but I didn't really have like a huge quantity of friends. Especially that I didn't party, I didn't go out, I didn't do anything. I was just really home the majority of my time. And when I wasn't home, I was just out doing miscellaneous things with the friend group that I had at the time. So I dedicated practically the majority of my day and my night to doing so and to learning that skill. So I feel like I have a little bit more of an accelerated learning curve than what the majority of people do, because the way I view trading, the way I look at it now specifically, and what I tell people you have to look at it as, it's like you're going to go get a degree. You're not going to take a year. You're not going to take 6 months to get a full degree, especially if it's a valuable degree. So that's kind of like what I tell people about it is.
Yeah, would you say belief system probably played a big part? Like, since you were spending so much time, you knew you were going to kind of make it.
Yeah, yeah. I never once had doubt that I wasn't going to be able to be successful at it. I don't know why. I never did. It was just like part of my DNA, part of my blood, that whatever I start out to do, like, it's going to become great.
Yeah, I could totally relate. Trust me. I get it. I think that's pretty common. I talk about mindset when people get into something, and you probably, because obviously you educate and you train and you mentor people now, which we'll get into now in a second, but people get into something to see if it works. And so when people get into it to make it work, and that small mindset shift, you could give them the same tools, resources, the same everything. And
it's not the same.
Yeah, and the one that wants to make it work is going to make it work. The one that's waiting for the shoe to drop.
Yeah, that's like the thing about it for me too. Like, I mean, so many people tell me like, oh, I want to try trading, see if I can make a little bit of money off it. I'm like, bro, if you're not, it's a career. It's not a hobby.
Right.
You know what I mean? Are you just going to try and be a doctor just because you want to try it and see if it works for you? It's like, bro, like, I don't know. The majority of those people that have that type of mindset is, I don't know how to describe them specifically, because first of all, to get into business and being an entrepreneur is hard enough, and then trading is on top of that 10 times harder than that, because the relationship that people have with money, it makes all your decision making inside of the markets so much more difficult. So like an average person, like what I say too, and I tell a lot of my students this as well, is that if you make money from the markets, you're not an average person. Because the average person cannot make money from the markets.
And what do you think sets apart the ones that do make money from the market?
Really, it's just a multitude of different things: emotional discipline, emotional maturity, the relationship that you have with money. You kind of have to be in a little bit of a perfect situation. Like the reality of you going from completely broke to making tons of money in the markets is very slim. And I would say it's super unrealistic, because in the markets, it's kind of similar to traditional investing, where if you want to make big money, you need big money. But nowadays it is a little bit easier to actually make a lot of money from the markets because of prop firms that don't cost you so much. But even then, like, you need to have a certain amount of capital to your name to keep you in the game when you're losing, because the minute that you lose all your money and you go like flat broke and you're like, oh shit, let me go apply to McDonald's really quick, is the day you stop actually learning how to trade because you're not in the game.
Right. Yeah, I think staying in the game is the biggest thing. And
It is.
Like in our business, people don't quit. I mean, people don't feel they quit, but if the business involves literal having capital, imagine.
Yeah, like
it's gotta be tough.
Yeah, like you don't need a ton of money to your name. Yeah. Like, you know, realistically, you could start trading with $1,000. The thing here is, how long can you make those $1,000 last? Because there's going to be a lot of lessons that you're going to have to go through.
And it's all obviously, you know, in relevance to how much money you think you're going to make, which
of
I
course.
think was your point. Like, you can start with $1,000 and probably make profit if you make the right moves. But if you think you're going to become a millionaire off $1,000, then that's probably where you're kind of playing the lottery.
Like,
some odds.
You technically now, like, yes, you can become a millionaire from $1,000, but unless you're using prop firms where, you know, you grab $1,000, hopefully you get lucky and you pass your first try and you get funded and you start getting payouts off of that account, and then you consistently start reinvesting into other prop firm accounts, because you can grab like 20, 40 different accounts that are all copy traded, and if you make $1,000 on one trade with relatively small sizing, you made 40 grand. So it's possible, but again, you have to have the skill to already know how to trade and already be able to accomplish something like that. Right. And trading with prop firms versus trading your own money is two completely different psychological games. Like, I know people who are absolutely garbage at trading their own money, but they're profitable with prop firms. It's just, and vice versa. It's just like, it just depends on the individual.
It's a weird thing. Yeah. Because it doesn't make sense, but
it's situational, because trading is very psychological, and it's very big on like overall emotions, but there's a lot of just psychological warfare in trading.
And things of that nature. That makes sense. So you were trading, you made a killing. At what point did you decide you wanted to like help others and kind of spread the knowledge and educate?
Honestly, the thing is, I started helping others for free, but then the problem with that was, like, I spent so much time,
but why
like, trying
did
to
you
help
start
somebody.
Helping others, though?
Because I knew them.
Okay,
and
so
I was
you're
like,
trying to look out for your boys.
And I spent so much time, and like 6 months later, they're not even doing it anymore. So I'm like, bro, what? Like, I didn't even, like, I gave you so much of my time, and it's not even just about like my time at that moment, but it's like the years of experience that I had gone through, and for me to just lay it out to you like that on top of spending my current time, I could have been doing something else, you know? So then that's when I actually started charging people for it. And then it ended up turning into an info business for me. That I didn't plan for it to turn into a real business.
So originally it was just to help out your friends. Then you realize, if I want to help people, they got to obviously make an investment, because when you pay, you play.
You take it more serious too. 100%. Like, when you don't, you have no skin in the game.
100%. Yeah, you know, that's, I have zero arguments there.
Yeah,
I agree.
I have a free course, and I actually look at the analytics and compare them to the ones that actually pay. The ones that actually pay and invest into my program, I mean, bro, I would say a good majority of them, A through Z, 100% completion, versus the free course. And I have thousands people in that free course, maybe 10%, 15% completed. And it's a module that's maybe like, you have like 10 videos of 30 minutes each.
Yeah, so you could do that
it's like, bro, what?
Yeah, people, they don't take it serious. They don't pay. All right. So how long have you been training for now, educating on online platforms?
2022, I believe.
3 years, give or take? Going on 3 years?
Yeah, like seriously, 2022.
Got it. And I guess my question would be, because I asked you when we started, if you're still trading, you told me yes.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not for a financial reason, because you got...
I enjoy it, though.
No, for sure.
You know?
So I was going to be, why are you still trading? And then is it, well, actually, I know why. I thought you were still trading because you want to stay up to date. So I was going to ask you, money aside, how do you stay motivated to continue to like do the legwork? Because trading is still like entry level work
hard.
at your point. You know what I mean? It's the emotionality. I mean, that still applies to you. So what's your motivation at this point? Because it can be money, to continue to roll up your sleeves and trade and work and grind and always be, you know, on a mission with people and trying to give back. Because clearly it's not a financial motive at this point. What would the motivation behind that be, you would say?
I mean, for me, right now, I'm really honest. I just love the game of trading. Yeah. It's there's always new levels to reach inside of the markets. Mm-hmm. You know, like there's traders that just from trading alone have made 50, 60, 70, 80 million, $100 million. You know, I haven't got to that point. I want to get to that point.
So levels you want to get to.
Yeah. So for me, it's the love for that. Because at the end of the day, motivation is bullshit. Motivation is not real.
It's a myth.
Yeah, it's not real.
What's the most you've made on a trade?
The most I made in a single trade was 220,000 on a short on gold.
That's fucking crazy. I don't even know what that means, but that's insane.
Basically, just means that I was selling the gold market and betting that the gold market was going to go down.
I don't know what that means. I'm lying. And that was the most you've lost, like in a day.
In a day, not that much, like 70 grand.
Okay.
I lost 300 grand in the span of 3 days, though. That was my biggest loss. That's what I'm saying. There's always going to be certain levels, and there's always going to be certain psychological barriers inside of the markets that you have to overcome.
Nice, crazy.
Yeah.
Did you want to jump off a bridge, or you kind of were already seasoned enough where you know that's part of the game?
I mean, not really, because the only reason I lost $300,000 was because I went on a really crazy run. So I had turned just a little bit over 100 grand into a little bit over $1 million, and my confidence was through the roof. But those market conditions, I would say, were fairly easy market conditions because the market was just dropping every single day. This is around the time when the Fed was consistently just increasing interest rates. Inflation was super high. There was a lot of fear injected into the markets, and the markets every single day was selling off and giving us these huge moves on a daily basis. So for me, all I did was trade the same way that I trade. I just increased my size. And the more money I made, the more I increased size. And it got to the point where then the market conditions changed, but I was still so married that there was going to be a bigger crash, that this is not the full crash. Like, how are we not going to see such a big crash? Inflation is at all-time highs. Interest rates are consistently being raised every single day. We have to. But that was what ultimately got me in the end, was being married to a bias, which was an expensive lesson for me because I kept trying to short the market, and the market started to just basically move sideways, and we started seeing a lot of like rotational markets, and I lost 200 grand. And I ended up, after that, I still had like a net profit of just around like 700K. Technically a little bit more because I was withdrawing along the way. But after that moment, I knew that, okay, this is a break it or break it moment. I'm either going to lose everything or I need to stop trading right away. So for me, I just withdrew all the money I had in every single brokerage, every single trading account, because I knew I was a danger myself and I had to take a break.
Nice. I mean, I'm not a gambler, but I've been at a casino before where I'm like, okay.
It's the very same feeling.
100%. I've hit like, I've hit like the lowest of my lows in Vegas. Like, I'm like, why am I like a fucking crackhead out of a slot machine right now? You know, like, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Crazy to see, obviously, the type of money you're speaking about. I'm talking about spending a few $1,000s in a casino compared to having your entire business on the line.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for pulling out, by the way, because I coming from somebody who I like to think I'm mature and smart, and like, you know, like I agree with motivation. Like I don't really put emotion in things. I just, if it's good, I do it. If it's not, I don't. And I kind of just live my life like that.
Yeah.
I've been at a place where I should probably start spending money, and I don't like losing, it was probably what would make me, the emotionality of trading. I think that's where I will probably take the biggest hit, because I am a bad loser. Like I do not like losing, and that's kind of my issue with gambling too, when like I go play blackjack, or I sit on a slot machine and I'm like, bro, I could just double down. And then the worst thing is doing that when you have money to your name. You know what I mean? Because then you could just keep doubling down. So I can imagine that's dangerous. Let me ask you, Raul, why, let's say I just got into the business, I'm day trading, I'm kind of mingling with it, I grasp the concept. Maybe I get through your free course, and now I'm ready to get to the next level, and I'm looking for some paid mentorship or a paid course. Obviously, you've got competition in the market. You're not the only successful day trader that's got, obviously, that's teaching what they know. Why would somebody go with your option, with your course, with your platform over somebody else's?
Because I feel like it's very simple to tell if somebody's actually educated and experienced, especially with this market. And on top of that, it's just really how much value can you actually provide to a certain individual. Like if you go back and you watch people's YouTube videos and they're talking about very like normal things, or they kind of like are a little bit unsure, then you could kind of tell. And on top of that, like the thing about the day trading space and social media is there's a lot of people that obviously claim to day trade but don't actually, or never even put in a single dollar of risk inside of the market. So me personally, I've never really worried or cared about what other people do, or even look at them as competition, because I know that not even just my own results speak for themselves, but my students' results speak for themselves. And that's where you kind of find the underlying issue. It's kind of like, okay, well, my education business hasn't been open for that long, realistically. It's been open maybe 3-4 years, let's call it. And you could see the results of people who started with me from the very beginning, where they're at now. Like I have one student specifically, I've had multiple students quit their 9-to-5 jobs and become full-time day traders. Yes. But one specifically, he was a warehouse worker making 25,000 pounds a year. And probably right now, year to date, he's up over $500,000 in just payouts alone. And not many people have that. It's very rare to find a student that's like that, which is why a lot of people kind of flock over to me, not only because of myself, my results, my lifestyle. Like that's kind of like, I view that at the end of the day right now, like that's all bullshit. That's whatever. Right. It's like, what about those people who are actually learning from me? Are they actually getting real value? Are they actually making real money? And that's where the big underlying difference is.
How fulfilling is it to take somebody from...
Oh, it's the best. Yeah, it's like you can't really put a description behind it, because you change somebody's life. Like you can't. I can't describe it.
Yeah, and obviously you said pounds. What country is that?
He's in the UK. Yeah. Well, now, I mean, he moved out to Dubai. You know, he's chilling.
I was just there. You're going over there soon, no? You guys are heading?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just came back. I want to move over there.
Yeah, it's nice.
That shit was dope. Yeah. And I say that at every single city I ever travel to. But normally I get over it after like 3 days. I've been back for like 2 weeks. I'm still in the tip, like, bro, I had a meeting with my tax lawyer today. And I was like, bro, can I like move my business over there and not pay taxes? But whatever, besides the point. Dude, if you had to describe the journey in a sentence, or normally I say a word, but give me a sentence. I'll give you, because obviously your journey is like, it's very advanced for your young age, given how much success you've had, how much money you made. Try to describe the journey so far.
If I were to try and describe the journey so far, I mean, it would really be just like one big roller coaster that's never ending. The highs feel really high and the lows feel really low. It's really what it is.
Gotcha. And my brother, if you have to give one advice, and this one you only get one advice, to an aspiring trader, just what that advice be for them to have success?
The only thing I have to say is get into trading order flow is really the only thing that I would say, the one advice. Because a lot of people trade a lot of different strategies. Some are okay, some are great, some are bullshit. It's just get into order flow trading.
For those of us that don't know what that means.
So
elaborate.
Everybody that's an aspiring trader, I mean, I didn't even know what that means until really a few years ago. What order flow trading actually is it gives you a better picture and a better understanding by giving you real-time data for you to be able to actually decide who's in control of a specific situation is really what it comes down to. So you're reading the actual orders that are coming in and hitting maybe like a bid or ask on a footprint chart. Okay. So to be a little bit more specific, the market is basically one big auction, and when you can understand how that auction works and where something is being traded at and who is trading at those specific areas, to kind of keep it short, for especially for people who don't know what trading is, then you're able to make more logical and educated decisions as to where price could potentially go. And you're getting this data and you're able to make these decisions and execute before the majority of other traders that aren't using order flow, which gives you more of an edge on top of them. It's order flow is the same exact tools and the same exact systems that, I mean, the biggest traders use. Even the traders that, there's this super famous trading competition called the Robbins Cup. The top 3 traders trade order flow. Yeah. So you're talking about the best, or one of the biggest public trading competitions in the world.
Yeah. Success leaves clues, bro. I like talking about that. Like, if the top people in the world are doing something, odds are you should probably try it too.
Yeah. But the thing is, I don't think most people would get into it because they're like, oh, this looks intimidating, or, oh, this looks complicated. But it's like, which first of all, it's really not. It's understanding data. It's understanding basic math as well. But if I told you, yo, you could potentially change your life. You could potentially make hundreds of thousands, tens of millions of dollars, but you might have to read a few numbers and maybe feel a little overwhelmed at times.
You got to be willing to pay the price, bro. Yeah, it's a small price to pay for that, yeah.
Yeah, but some people, you know.
Dude, I'm in the recruiting business, bro. Trust me. I get it. We recruit
everybody just wants everything.
And by the way, at its core, I think all businesses have the same problem.
Yeah, 100%.
Would you agree, Junie? It's you just described like when you were going through like the emotional roller coaster and the mental toughness.
There's always something. There's like, always something to deal with. Always like something to fire to pull out.
Yeah. Consider yourself a therapist almost to an extent.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's gonna
be all right, bro. Stay in there, stay locked in.
Yeah.
You know, double down. You got this, bro. Yeah. Think about what you really want. It's almost like to the T. Yeah, I heard myself speaking, and you obviously different vehicle.
Yeah.
They're a complete different vehicle, but similar concept, which is cool.
Yeah, I think being the founder of the business is actually a lot more difficult than just the person getting the
Bro.
checks and being the employees, because you have the uncertainty of not getting that
I
check.
saw Daniel G had I don't know if you know there's some sales dude. He's done a training for us in the past. He made a video saying like, "Yo, being the CEO, it's a complete fucking trap.
Yeah.
Be a sales guy.
Yeah.
Sales guys are getting paid with no stress. The CEO
Yeah,
is
literally, bro.
It's
Literally.
Sunday and I'm working, you know."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Fuck, I could completely relate to that." You know what I mean? I wouldn't change it for the world, but nonetheless, yeah. Some people are just sick in the head like that.
Yeah.
Kind of like, well, you haven't quit, or you haven't slowed down. Because it's more levels. You know, I can only have so many cars, but it's more levels to it.
I don't know, man. I'm not that I'm sick of the cars, but I've literally had them all. Like from standard entry level supercars to hypercars, you know? And nowadays it doesn't do anything for me.
It's not money anymore. I would imagine like
I wouldn't even say it's not about money. It's just not about like materialism.
Right. Okay. Let me rephrase. Yeah, there's not an actual artifact or like the way I see it, and I'm not a car guy. Never have been. Maybe I should be. But the experiences that's what I'm seeking for. I don't know if I can relate at this point.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
I could care less have like the next car. To me now it's just all right. I want to be able to do what I want to do, and I want to experience life. And for those that are around me, help them experience what I'm experiencing 100%. Too, because everybody should.
100%. You bring everybody up with you. Obviously, people are gonna have your back, which is good.
Yeah.
Favorite car? Last question. We're at that 30-minute mark.
I'll probably say Lamborghini SVJ.
Yeah. Nice. And you've had, like you mentioned, a good amount of cars, right? So,
bro, I've spent.
They don't do commercials, so they can sponsor you.
No, I've spent over 30 million in cars.
Insane.
Yeah, I'm actually one of the dealerships I go to. I'm like their top 3 client.
Nice.
Yeah, it's actually pretty nuts.
You probably walk in and taking your car out the lot, no?
Yeah.
And I'm familiar with those relationships, what they look like.
Bro, the thing is, I'm sick in the head. Because there was this one time, I'll never forget it. Like I'm literally sick in the head. I was actually like on a staycation with my wife, and there was one morning where I hit a really big trade. It was $80,000, and immediately I was like, I dial up the phone, and I'm like, hey, I want a new car, and they tell me, okay, perfect. We actually just got this one. It's brand new. It's literally almost here. It's coming in a container. It was a Lamborghini STO, and I'm like, cool. I'm sending you 80 grand right now. Get me approved and ship over the car to me. And that was like in the morning, like 10 a.m. I had the car delivered to my hotel by like 8 p.m. at night that same day. But it was just like, that's why I think I'm sick in the head, because who the fuck is just gonna go spend? I wouldn't do that shit now anymore. Right. But who the fuck is gonna go just randomly just spend 80 G's like that, put it into a car, you know?
Somebody who bust their ass and freaking did what most people don't do. It's really that's what it comes down to at the end of the day, bro. I don't think you're that much different than 99% of people that try trading. You just stuck around longer, and when shit got hard, you kept pushing, dude. And
trading just really comes down to a lot of discipline. Is really what it is.
Like anything else, bro. Like I probably interviewed 25 people already, and in this type of like business setting, it's almost down to like every last one has been the same thing: discipline, controlling your emotions, doubling down when it gets hard, and just keep moving.
Yeah, basically.
And it's literally what it takes to succeed in any business. It's a matter of finding a vehicle you like, and then and then sticking to it.
And not giving up is a huge one too, because a lot of people give up because it just gets hard.
You don't fail, you quit, bro. It's kind of the way it works.
Yeah, that's actually one thing that I've always told people who come into my community. Is like, really, realistically, if you think about it, the only traders that fail are the ones that really quit. Now, there could be traders who don't make money, but you have to get through those periods. And more importantly, you have to continuously work on improving not just yourself, but your trading system. And then at some point, you're going to start making money.
Nice. Well, brother, you're impacting a lot of lives with your training platform. I'm pretty sure you know that, but if nobody's told you, I'll tell you myself.
Yeah.
The power of changing lives and impacting lives is far greater than any dollar you ever
100%.
make. So kudos to you, bro. Keep crushing it, dude. I appreciate you taking the time last minute
to
jump
course.
on here, bro. And we got to do this again.
We'll do it maybe.